Good morning. It's another fine morning that the Lord has seen it well for us to discuss some issue concerning our families and marriages. My name is Albert, counseling psychologist from Hope Cube Counseling, a center of mental tranquility, where your mental health and your mental wellness is our greatest concern. When we talk about mental health and mental wellness, all this begins back from our families. When we talk about last episodes, we have been talking about drug addiction that was in vernacular, and we also have about occupational burnout. All these, their roots are back in the family. That's why I have found it well, and also from the fountain, from the counseling center, we found it well for us to discuss more about uh, family. To begin with, family is one of the greatest institutions that God has ever created. It was designed to be a systematic social contract that provides love, peace, and procreation and healthy interactions. God had an intention of creating the family. The family has its roots back in the Garden of Eden for those who are Christians. And it is based in Genesis chapter 3, where God created man and found that the man was lonely. Underline the word, and the Lord found that the man was lonely, and found and said that it was not good for a man to be alone. So the loneliness that God found man with is the one that led him to create this institution of a family. And the institution of a family was founded by God himself. And he made man to sleep in a deep, to have a very deep sleep. And when the man was that deep sleep, then God plucked part of his ribs and formed a woman. There is one very interesting aspect after God did this act of creating this woman, that the Bible does not show us the introduction, that God created the woman and God brought the woman to Adam, told Adam, "Oh, my man, this is a woman I've created for you." But Adam himself knew. And when he woke up, he realized that something has happened. When he opened his eyes, he saw a woman and he said, "Wow, the bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh, I will call her a woman, because he has been taken from a man." Having said that, this is the genesis of our families. This is where the families came into being. And now the family began from that root of the creation of a woman. There is something very important about this aspect of a woman, that when God created them, they had different personalities. They had different identities. Why? Because the first one was created from soil. The second one was created from the soil that was created. The soil that is man created the woman. So the woman was taken from a man. So the woman is owned by the man due to this aspect. And that's why even to date, women are always associated with their husbands because they belong to them. They belong to them. So knowing that you belong to your husband, it is very important. It doesn't mean that to be brought down, to be diminished, to be no. Because when God took the limb, he never got the limb from the foot. Hakutoa pale kwa mguu. And he never got the flesh from your head or from your back, but from your lips. Why from your lips? It is because you need to protect your wife. You need to protect your wife in all aspects. So, according to these scriptures, God, uh, God set the lonely, the lonely man into a family. So whenever somebody is lonely, he is supposed to be set in a family. That's why even children, when they lose their parents at the tender age, they are taken into children's home, whereby they must own a family for them to avoid loneliness. So those men who have not married, those men who are not planning to marry, they will live one day a lonely life. But those man who has married and they have children, even at their old age, they are never lonely because their children are visiting them. This is the aspect of marriage, that it removes loneliness. But if you want to remain in the loneliness that Adam had in Eden, then avoid marrying, avoid the woman, because the woman will bring the family, and the family is your children that will take care of you, that will remove the loneliness in you. So, there are those things that destroy this institution that God created. Every institution has its challenges. And today, after the introduction of marriages, I just want to take few challenges, few ways that we can fight the challenges in this institution. Then, in the second episode, we shall look at challenges of marriage. Challenges. What challenges do we go through during our marriages? Then, let's look at ways that we can overcome those challenges that we shall look. We shall look at ways to overcome problems in our marriages. Number one, choose your battle wisely. Choose your battle wisely. Sometimes it is very important to understand which battle am I fighting? What am I trying to control? Sometimes when conflict comes, it is very important to be selective in your approach to conflict solution. Just look on ways that you are going to control these particular challenges. How am I going to resolve this conflict so that you don't engage yourself in unnecessary battle? In marriages, there is up and down, and when there is up and down, you have to look at the necessary solution, not to fight a losing battle. Then, what are the spoils and rewards of winning the argument? Sometimes, whenever there is challenges, there is a lot of arguments. Then you ask, after all this argument, what is the outcome? What is the reward of arguing and gaining the argument? Because sometimes you may win the argument and you lose the person that you are arguing with. And this aspect, you lose your wife or your husband. It is very important to look at the solution and the argument. Where is it taking you? Count up the cost of what you're doing. Whenever there is a challenge, whenever there's a problem, count the cost. What are we going through? It may be worth to fight. There's no need to engage in argument that has no solution. So it is very important to look at aspects of what you're doing so that to engage yourself in choosing your battle wisely. There's time when the Israelites were in the midst of the problems, but the Lord said, you shall fight for you, the Lord shall fight for you, hold your peace. That is Genesis, the Exodus chapter 14 verse 14. Hold your peace. It is very important. Wherever there is problem, choose your battle wisely. hold your peace, and the Lord, who is the founder of this institutional marriage, will fight for you. When the Lord is in the center of your marriage, then the war is chosen wisely, because it is the Lord who is fighting the war. Sometimes when people talk about divorce and the outcome of all these challenges, sometimes they lead to divorce. But my question is, Christians who love the Lord, when the Lord said forgive one another, why is this aspect of forgiving? Because it is the bottom line of everything. The aspect of forgiving is the bottom line in the marriage. Then there is number two. All families, they do have some aspects of dysfunctionality, dysfunctions. All families, all families have a perception level of peace and dysfunctionality. There come a time when you see that the family is not working. The marriage has come to a standstill because of what is happening. This is the time when we come back to our Lord, the founder of our marriage, when our marriage is coming to a dysfunction, when you find that you realize that the marriage is not working, what is happening? It is the moment that both of you, the couple, to go on their knees, to go back to the founder of marriage and see where the problem is. When you have a gadget in your house, maybe you have a TV, you have a phone, then you realize that the phone is becoming dysfunction. What you do first is to go to the manual of that particular gadget and see what the manufacturer had said about any dysfunction of the gadget. This is what should happen. When you realize that your family marriage is not working, go to the founder of marriage. And this is Christ himself. Go there. Try to look and see where have you gone wrong. Because if a gadget is not working, something has gone wrong. And in marriage, if the marriage is not functional, then something has gone wrong, and it is your high time to look into it and see what is this that has caused our marriage not to function. Then, acknowledging the dysfunction does not mean that it is acceptable or warranted. However, acknowledging is the first step toward solution. Know that there is a problem, acknowledge that problem, and that is the first step towards solution. So it is very important to acknowledge that my marriage is not dysfunctional, so that you will go to the manufacturer of the gadget or the institution, and the institution was founded by God, and you will learn more about it. We shall discuss issues that brings marriage down, and you shall see how things work. That's the bottom line. Then let's look, always love and prioritize your family. Always love and prioritize your marriage or your family. This goes on both sides. It is not only man who should love and prioritize the family, but also the couple, the wife, the husband, whatever you are doing, prioritize your marriage. Developing a healthy family requires love and time. How important is your family to you? When was the last time you said I love you? Being critical and judgmental without any compassion can be detrimental to your family dynamics. Sometimes we don't prioritize our family. We love our friends outside there. We do good things to them. But when you come to our marriages, when you come to families, we criticize, we talk, we have not done this, we have not done that. But when you are in workplace, wherever you are, you find yourself dealing with issues and helping one another. But this is not the case. In marriage, you prioritize your marriage always. You prioritize your marriage always. Your family members need to feel loved, accepted, and important. Your family members, even your children, they need to feel valued. They need to feel important. They want a sense of belonging. They belong to a family. Initially, we said that for one to have peace, one to avoid loneliness, you must belong to a family. So when you prioritize all these things, you will find that your marriage is going to be workable. Prioritizing and spending quality time with your family will provide opportunity for affection, bonding, reciprocity, and positive reinforcement. When you prioritize all these, then you find that there is reinforcement, there is reciprocity, whereby what you are doing is going to be reciprocated to you. You know, you give the value you give others, the value they give you. So it is very important to understand what value are you giving to the marriage. Because marriage is not an institution whereby it is stand by its own. It starts to be, it is dynamic. When something is dynamic, it is need to be molded. In marriage, you keep on molding one another because we don't come from the same background. And we are going to discuss more about marriages in details. When you come to another aspects that we should consider in our marriages, it is manage your emotions. You manage, number 4, manage your emotions. When you don't control your emotions, you remember the wise man Solomon said that a man who cannot control himself is like falling walls. When walls are falling, they are dangerous. They can kill. We have, and many walls have killed, and actually they have killed. So it is very important to control your emotions. Being angry and sin not. That Paul who says that in the book of Galatians, that even if Ephesians 4:26 and 27, in your anger, do not sin. So learn to control your anger. Learn to control everything that is emotional from you. Because the moment you don't control your emotions, you are going to affect the other person or your spouse. And the moment you affect your spouse, that's the beginning of now downfall of the marriage. So it is very important to control your emotions. And the other one is communicate life and not death. Communicate life and not death. Some of the children that we live in this world and the people, their parents did not bless them. They talked about ill about them. They communicated death, that you are useless, you never gain anything in this world, and those children internalize those statements. When you are talking to your spouse, when you are communicating, communicate something sensible, something that is going to promote the heart of your spouse, something that is going to encourage your spouse, but not to demoralize your spouse, not to diminish your spouse, whereby you develop giant uh, giant and grasshopper syndrome. Giant grasshopper syndrome, where one is found to be the giant and the other one is found to be a grasshopper. No, that's not the case in the family. The marriage, we are equal partners. Control, communicate, and communicate life and not death. Then we have the other one is learn, master the art of reasoning. Some people are very poor in listening. Some people are very poor in listening. You interact the person who is speaking. Before the person makes a conclusion of what he is talking about, already you have interrupted. Already you don't even have time to listen. Listen to understand, but not to respond. Listen and understand from the context of the person that is speaking. Listen to understand, not from your own experiences. Because sometimes when you speak to somebody, then the other person will talk about the experience he has about what you're talking about. But that particular person who was communicating or talking, he was talking about his own or her own experience, not experience from your perspective, but learn from the experience of the person who is speaking, so that you understand through what we call empathy listening, whereby you are listening and understanding the world when you are in the world of your spouse. Uh, Practice prayer and forgiveness. This is the final one, and not the final one. This is one of the greatest aspects in marriage, when you are controlling the up and downs, the conflicts. Listen, then prayer and forgiveness. This is where now the rubber meets the Lord. That we pray together, we forgive one another, and we move together in one accord, that we are moving in the same direction as we were ordered by God. Because when God talked about marriage, we shall come to discuss it in detail, that he said, man shall live. We talk about the word shall. Shall stands for, it is compulsory, not optional. We talk about shall is compulsory, not optional. So for you to live together as a husband and a wife, you should learn the arts of prayers and forgiveness. Uh, let's look at the other one. Protect your privacy. You protect your privacy. Sometimes people keep on discussing their family outside, their inner issues, everything. What some people say is washing your dirty linen publicly. Sometimes it's very important to protect your privacy. Protect your wife. Don't communicate the evil things about your wife. Communicate good things about your wife and make sure that what you are saying is a positive thing about your husband and your wife. It is not important to take out your private issues to the public. Communicate and protect your private issues. Seek professional counseling and guidance when there is issues that you are not able to control. Seek professional guidance and counseling, whereby you go for a professional counselor, like Hope Q Counseling Services. Just come as a couple and you are going to be provided with counseling, whereby professionals will deal with the issues and they will help you get out of your problems. Then it is very important to seek professional counseling and guidance. We have concluded, we want to conclude by saying that we have learned issues that you can use to control problems in your marriage. And if you use those 8 items that I have talked about, you are going to understand and you are going to be able to control your marriage, and you are going to help other people by understanding how they can do it and control their marriage. And when these issues are so difficult, don't forget to visit a professional counselor, and mostly make sure you visit Hope Q Counseling Center in Thika, whereby couples are welcome and we have said your mental wellness is your concern. Thank you. Let's meet in the second episode when we shall be discussing more about family. Thank you.